Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Joel. So, today we are on episode 7. And before I tell you what the topic is about, I thought I would briefly introduce you to Max. So, I've known Max for well over at least 10, 15 years. I've known him, especially, I got to know him really good through high school. We went to the same high school. He was in the same grade as my brother Mitchell, and so I was one grade behind. So I met him through Pinson Valley High School, which is where we went. And then I also knew him even more than that, like outside of school at work, because my first job was working at Food Giant, and he worked there as well, along with some other fellow Pinson Valley students. So, like I thought, he wanted to sign up for this topic, and I'm glad that he is on here. So, thank you for being on here, Max.
You're very welcome. Sorry, you keep breaking out every once in a while. I keep cutting out a little bit. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, you're all good. So, yeah, so in case for people that are watching this, he is traveling at this moment. So, if there are some technical difficulties on either of our sides, just, apologies for that. But we're going to keep the show on the road and we will get through these questions. And we are going to talk about a topic that I feel like is important in society. So, but before I do that, I'm going to have Max introduce himself, tell us where he is living these days and what he does for work.
All right, thanks, Joel. I currently live in Brunswick, Georgia. So that's kind of down in southeast Georgia, below Savannah and above Jacksonville, Florida. Very beautiful area, very nice, very convenient to St. Augustine and Savannah and all those really good attractions and locations. I currently work at a paper mill as a chemical engineer in their power and recovery department. So lots of really good projects, high value added projects. Sorry, I'm watching the traffic while we're driving. Tracy's driving. I'm not driving, obviously. Um, so it's really good. It's really engaging. I've really enjoyed my time there so far. I've only been there 3 months now. Before that, I was at the West Rock Mart Mill by Columbus, Georgia. And before that, I was at the International Paper Mill in Selma, Alabama. That's pretty much my work history since college.
All right, nice. So, did you go to college for like chemical engineering, or what did you go to school for?
Yeah, chemical engineering at Alabama. Roll
Oh
Tide.
yeah, Roll Tide. so, so yeah, awesome. So, like I said, we're both using our degrees to use. So, I'm definitely glad to hear that. So yeah, that is Max, everybody. So we are going to get into our topic today, which is about protecting yourself, whether it is physically or online, like virtually. So I think this is very important because safety is something that everybody should consider, like having in their life. Some people may not value it as much as others. Some people will just meet a stranger out of nowhere and just trust that person immediately, and that can be dangerous. So I
Right.
thought that we would get into some questions regarding the importance of protecting ourselves. So I think I'm going to start with the idea of physically protecting ourselves. So I'm going to get into this first question. And the question is when it comes to physically protecting yourself, I know people use different ways to protect themselves. Some people will go to a self-defense class and like take these classes and use that in their real life situations that they may be put in. But then there's also others that may have a weapon, whether it's a gun or pepper spray or anything like that. So I was wondering, I'm going to ask Max this first and then I will give my opinion. So do you feel like there should be more awareness to the importance of safety and making sure that we're able to defend ourselves whenever it's necessary?
100%. Absolutely. So you've only got one life to live, and you got to be careful with it. It's very precious, and uh, like you said earlier, some people meet a stranger and not to say you should walk around scared of your shadow and spooked at every single thing that is around you, but you should respect it and respect the world, because the world is a big, beautiful place, but it can be a scary place at the same time. So, never put your safety in somebody else's hands. Take ownership, control of your own life. And that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, that's a very good point to make because yeah, so we definitely need to take that into consideration. That yeah, like I said, there definitely is good people out there in the world. Like I said, it's a very beautiful world and definitely very nice people out there that can be very trusting. But yeah, like I said, just definitely knowing when to discern between somebody that you can trust versus somebody that you don't know very well. So I would definitely agree with you. I would say yes, there definitely needs to be a lot more awareness when it comes to protecting ourselves. I think like the idea of taking like a self defense class would be really
Yeah.
neat for people to do. I know I've never personally
Yeah.
done that, but I have done like I have taken a couple of karate sessions, so I guess that is self-defense. But besides that, I haven't done much of like a full out self-defense class, so there's that.
Yeah. Me.
Yeah, and then as far as like weapons go, when it comes to guns, I know some people want to have a gun in their house. Some people like that kind of protection. Personally, for me, I'm not too big on guns. It's a little bit, I don't know. I don't trust myself. Like I just feel like I don't know. I guess I feel like if I was laying in bed and there was like if I had my gun next to me and if somebody just barged in my room, I feel like they would be quicker to shoot me than me to even like grab my gun. I mean, like so maybe there are different ways to go about doing that. So personally, for me, also I've only shot a gun once in my life, so you may not want to trust me with a gun. so so yeah, like so for me, when it comes to guns, I know it's a personal choice for people, and but for me, I would say no. I would prefer the idea of pepper spray just because you can distract them as if their eyes are burning you can run, but with a gun I guess like actually me and my brother Mitchell on the way home was talking about like self-defense and like if you were put in that situation, like I mean I know you're self-defending yourself and like if you killed the other person with a gun, um like I almost like would feel like a murderer even though it was out of self-defense. So I don't know, so I can see it both ways because it's definitely important to protect yourself, but at the same time it could definitely that's a weapon that definitely can cause life or death situations to happen. So
Yeah, it's definitely, uh, for one, is at least have something. Two, avoidance is the best strategy if you can, to de-escalate or to just avoid the situation entirely if you can. And three, if you do opt with a gun, in my opinion, you need to adequately train, get yourself familiar with it, uh, and then if you're going to pull it, you know, have a clear strategy. Know ahead of time what warrants pulling, because some there's a legal precedent on the is that like, sorry about that. Woman, um, uh, like when somebody's going to attack you, there has to be obviously a clear and present danger to yourself or a loved one. For example, if you see somebody a football field, 100 yards away with a knife, it's like, well, they're not really right next to you, just a knife, so you can't really pull out a gun and shoot them. So like it has to be like a clear and present danger. And I'm not 100% familiar with like the law and legality and stuff, but there's books you read and study as far as that taser, if you're allowed to have them in your state. But I mean, there's also a thing to consider is like, to me, self-defense is, a natural born right. It's inalienable. Like, whether you want to call it from God, from the universe, from, whatever, just natural born right. Protecting your life is as sacred as it can get to me, or the life of your family or loved ones. So as long as you're doing something, you know, get training, doing avoidance. But sorry, I'm rambling. We can go
Uh,
back over to it.
No, you're good. Lots of know. It's definitely important to know these things because, like I said, it is very important to protect yourself as well as your loved ones that you were with. So that is definitely big. And as far as like you said, as far as when it comes to a gun, definitely go to a gun range, target practicing, anything like that, and know like how to use your gun, get to really know your gun. Don't just buy a gun and think I'm just going to shoot this off at somebody. Like I said, you definitely
Yeah,
want to know how to load a gun and how to put the safety on and all that good stuff. So yeah,
yeah,
it's not like that on like TV. I know some people can just grab a gun and shoot. TV is not reality. Like definitely know the prep for it and all that, and
yeah.
definitely be very accurate. Like I said, definitely practice on your accuracy and
That's
all
right.
that too.
That's right.
so so yeah, like, so that is definitely you know, good things to consider when it comes to self-defense and all that. So I think the next question that I have is still in relation to physically protecting yourself. So have you ever been in a moment where you had to physically protect yourself or defend yourself or anybody else?
Yeah. So one time, and this has been, how long ago was it, Tracy? At that park in Montgomery, like 6 years ago. It was probably about 6 years ago, and we were just out on an evening stroll, and it was like Bicentennial Park or Riverfront Park, some park in Montgomery, Riverfront, and she remembers. Um, and we were just having a nice time, having a nice little stroll, and this fella walked up to us, and he gave us a typical sob story, like, "Hey, my son is having surgery over in East Georgia. I need some gas money to get over there." Of course, you need gas money. That's what they always say. And first I say, "Hey, man, I don't have any cash on me, whatnot." And he lifted up his jacket. He had a knife, like a sheathed knife in his belt buckle, and I was like, "Okay, I see where this is going." And so, your heart starts pounding, you start racing, you start thinking, what could go wrong? I don't want to get hurt. I don't want Tracy to get hurt. And I took out my billfold and I took out $40 and I gave it to him. I said, "Hey, here you go. Go ahead and have it. I'll pray for your son or whoever. I'll pray for you. Have a good time." And that's kind of like back to what I said. Avoidance. If somebody's trying to mug you, rob you, or whatever, like, your first thing is comply with them. Give them what they want. Your money is not worth more than your life. Just give it away. But if it becomes an issue where that's not enough, and they don't want to leave any witnesses or whatever you want to call it, then you fight back. You try to run. You try to do what you can do to get out of the situation. But it's definitely terror. Like, I won't say terror. It's pretty scary. Uh, you really kind of realize, it could slip up on you in a second. Like, just 1 minute, we're sitting there minding our own business, and like 10 seconds later, this guy's, you know, flashing a knife at us. It was kind of surreal. It happened very fast.